Hi, this is Janet from the PowerPoint Studio, and I'm going to show you how to make a chart in PowerPoint that's just a little bit different. Um, I like to tie in any information graphics, charts, or graphs. I like to tie it in with the theme of the presentation. Now, this presentation is all about restaurants. So I went online to Stock Photography House and found some images that were great for restaurants. One of the images was a place setting. I saved that to my desktop, and I'm going to go grab that image right now by going up to the Insert menu and scrolling down the picture and finding my image called Place Setting. Click on that and click on the Insert button, and it goes right on top of my slide. It's a little bit high, so I'm just going to drag it on, or drag it down rather, so it doesn't cover up my header. And I also want to slide it over a bit so it's a little bit more centered on the page. I'm using my arrow key to kind of nudge that over. And the next thing I want to do is to create my pie chart to go on top of this nice place setting, which I'm using as the background or the backdrop for my graphic. Now, I have several choices for my pie chart, but the only one that really works for this is this one here. Actually, this one could work too, but I like this one. The only reason it works is because it is the same shape as the plate. This is at an angle, so it would not match the inside of that plate in the way it's configured. So I'm going to go to this pie chart here, and all I have to do is click on that. It's going to bring me to an Excel document where I can put in the size of my pie slices and also apply labels. When I slide this over, you will see that PowerPoint put in just a default chart for me. None of the labels are correct, and the colors aren't really what I want, but this is just a starting point for me, so I'm going to work with this. And it's nice to be able to see the chart update live as I change the figures around. You'll see that in just a second. I'm going to go to my first quarter, and instead of having that label, I'm going to type in my first group for my demographic pie chart, and that's Asian. And I know that that's 20%. And my second group is Latino, and I know that that's 25%. The third group is white, and that is 40%. And the last group is just other, and that's going to be 15%. Let's see how that all updated with my correct percentages. So I'm going to slide this over. So that it's somewhat centered on the plate, but as you can see, it's kind of small. I'd like to be able to get it larger so that it fits right inside this rim. So I'm going to grab the corner, and you can see that that cursor turns into a little arrow, and it shows that we can enlarge that pie chart. I'm going to drag it down, and now we have to, oops, I don't want to drag it from there. I want to drag it from the blue bounding box so I don't mess up any of those pie pieces. And that's pretty good. So I've got it over the pie, over the plate. And now what I want to do is, we have a key here that shows the different ethnic groups that I entered before, but I really don't want to have this on the side in the key area. I want to have these labels directly on top of the pie pieces, just because it's a lot more clean. It's always better when you just have one area to look at to get all your information, rather than to have to look back and forth from a key to the graph itself. So I'm going to click on this so that I can get rid of it. Sometimes these things are stubborn. There we go. And I don't need my label that says sales either, because this is not about sales. I'll get rid of that. And now, let me readjust my pie. It got a little bit larger when I took out those labels. So now I have to adjust that again so that it goes right inside my plate. It's a little bit big. So I can reduce that in size so I can see a little bit of the shadow on that rim, which is kind of nice. I like to be able to hold on to that. I could slide that over some more. Just a little bit smaller still. And I think that's going to work. Oops. Sometimes it takes a little bit of patience to just get this just the way you want it. There we go. That's kind of in the center of the plate now. And, oh, what happened there? I'll tell you, sometimes these buggy things happen in PowerPoint. You just have to kind of roll with the punches. There we go. Now, you remember I had those categories before, Asian, Latino, white, and I deleted that off the key on the side. Well, that didn't really disappear forever. That's kind of in PowerPoint's memory. And I'm going to use what I had here and turn those into labels. I'm going to do that by going to in the formatting palette, under other options, I have labels, and I'm going to scroll down to category name and percent, and there they are, magically reappearing. So once again, I'm going to have to enlarge my pie so that it fits inside of that plate, and I do that by going to the corner, dragging that out. Ooh, too big that time. Okay, that's pretty good. So now, I like the way this is looking, but I'm not crazy about all of the colors. These orange tones, reddish tones, they're pretty good for restaurant colors, because it's appetizing looking. Anything red, but you know, gray is not too appetizing, and neither is this muted pink. So I want to change those two colors. So I'm going to go to see if I can click on just one of them. As you can see, when I click there, it gave me the whole, all of the slices. I don't want that. I just want this slice right here. So I'm going to double click on that, and that time, see, it just highlighted that one slice. You can tell because you have a little dot defining that slice. Oops. So now that I've done that, I double click on that. It brings me to my format data point. The data point is just a fancy name for that big pie slice. So with that selected, I'm going to change the color. Right now, it says automatic, which means that PowerPoint just automatically puts in a color that's, you know, part of their default menu. And I hardly ever like anything that PowerPoint decides it likes as a color. I always like to put in my own colors. So we're going to scroll down here. I'm going to put in something more appetizing, looking like a green, by scrolling down to that. Good, almost like a lettuce color. So that works fine. Click on OK. Now I've got this one other color to deal with. It's this yucky gray color. Double click on that. Brings up my format data point again. For the color, let's see, what do I want? I'll choose a darker green. That's good. So click on that. Now that pie chart is looking pretty good. The only problem is, got a couple of pie slices where you can't really read the labels that are on them. So I want to go, first I highlight those, highlight the whole pie chart. And as you can see, my labels have a blue bounding box around them. And that means that you can go ahead at this point and change the color of the type. So with that selected, I'm going to go to Format, scroll down to Font, and right now it's that purpley color. I'm going to change that to white. And that's good. And that looks great, actually. The only problem is I've got some of my type not exactly where I want it. So I have the option at this point to move that around. With this one highlighted, I can slide that so it's more toward the center of the slice. And I can take this one, I can move that down to the center, move that one, and move this one. And there you have it. You have a pie chart. You've got, it's a little bit more interesting because you have this picture graphic behind it. You've got some appetizing colors that represent food and the restaurant business. And you're ready to go.